Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Amy with Dino Budgets, and today we are going to be budgeting paycheck number 2 for May. And before we get into that, you know what we have to do first. We have to see what T-Rex is trying. So remember, no matter what type of day you're having, at least you're not a T-Rex trying to get to the bottom of the can of chips. I think we all can relate to this, that in this circumstance, we're all T-Rexes. All right, guys, so let's hop into budgeting today. We're going to be budgeting paycheck number 2 for May, and this is my paycheck that I normally budget all of like my spending and my cash envelopes for the entire month until the second paycheck of June. So this time around, we did actually get a little bit of overtime put onto this check instead of like our first paycheck of the month, which is kind of like when the overtime has been normally coming. So I am really excited about that. This is after taking out tithe. And then I did make a payment of $310 to my credit card. We did have a little bit of spending that happened before this paycheck came in. I had like, a birthday gift for a nephew. We had a little bit of extra food from our travels and, some stuff for the home. So all things that I would have been stuffing in my cash envelopes just to turn around and unstuff. So I figured I would go ahead, just take it out, pay it off, start clean for this next 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks of budgeting. So that was something I had to keep in mind, that May 15th to June 15th is approximately almost a 5-week spread. So I do need to bump up some of these categories. And so we are going to budget $1,745.27. And let's hop into it. So mortgage, that gets paid on the first paycheck of the month. And then same thing with car payment and bills. All of those get paid with my first paycheck. So food budget, we went a little over last month. I know part of that was due to us traveling to Kansas City, and I'm still balancing out, budget and food and all this when it comes to how we're eating now. So we are going to go ahead and put $800 into there this time. I think we did $700 last month. And I was a couple $100 over, I want to say, just between like and some of that I took out of the travel food and made up for it. So we're going to kind of cut in the middle and go $800 this month. Gas can be a little bit lower, $200. Normally I'd be even lower than this just because it only takes $30 to $35 to fill up our like everyday car, depending on if we're filling it up from empty or like 3/4 or, however. And so that is, I account for that almost every week, but it kind of goes closer to like a week and a half. And then our older vehicle, which has a much larger tank, so it usually takes around 50 or so to fill up on that one right now, just based off of our prices here in Iowa. In that one, I only fill up once or twice, just kind of depending on how much I'm going to be using it. And since I am on a couple-week break before my summer class starts, I know I'm not doing a ton of driving with that vehicle. So normally I'd be even less than this. I'd be like in the 150 to 170 range. But I did tack on extra for this upcoming month because baseball season has started. And so my oldest nephew is in baseball, and we go to at least 1 or 2 games a week. And they are hour and 20 minutes from us. So, and that's one way. So 2.5 hours round trip-ish, somewhere in there. And so while we do get good mileage on our car, we do, end up spending more in gas to fill it up more frequently. So I'm going to see if 200 is going to be a good balance for baseball season, and then we will reevaluate in June on how that's going. Medical is going to get 80. start building that back up. I think I have depleted that. I do have plenty of money on our HSA, so there are certain things that I am using the HSA card for right now, but there's smaller things like going to the Cairo and different things like that that I'd like to keep paying for ourselves without taking out of the HSA, but we'll just see how things go. Home repairs is going to get skipped for now. It is good right now. I'm still working on some projects, trying to finish them up. Yearly bills, that one's going to get a nice big jump of $200. We do have that coming up. The majority of it will be in June, and then in July is when like the car renewal is. So this category for me covers my car insurance, an umbrella policy, and then car plate renewal and registration. And so my home insurance comes directly out of my mortgage because the bank pays it, out of my escrow account. So I don't have to worry about that. That comes out of, my mortgage payment. But I do have to pay the other ones, and I pay them yearly. So I am bulking up for those because they hit me June, July every year. And then emergency fund is good. We don't need to put anything in that right now. And then savings, we're just going to zero out, I think like $20.27, just to make this an even amount going into our cash envelopes. So we're gonna go over here and see what we are going to allow. I had actually started working on this before filming and realized that I hadn't copied my new setup here with my personal care envelope. So I had everything all budgeted. And then I was like, I'm missing something. Where's my envelope that I can put my haircut money in? And I didn't budget for that. So then I had to start all over. But that's the great thing about, budgeting. You can write it all out, see what you think, tweak it. I mean, it's your money. You got to tell it where to go. So car maintenance, we're going to add 60. I'm kind of excited that these envelopes get a little bit of a boost just because we have some extra money to actually play with this month. So Barney's going to get a 20. He's doing pretty good in his envelope adding up. Christmas, we're going to throw 100 at Christmas. It needs to get up there. Travel, we're just going to do a 20. We just got back from a weekend away and we had a great time. It was, we had been worried about rain the whole time and whether or not, the race would get rained out, then we'd have to bump back to a Monday for the race. And nope, it was hot. Both Saturday and Sunday ended up getting up into the low 90s, plenty of sunshine. It was super hot. I'll insert a couple photos here. We did go to the Kansas City Zoo, which was fun. It's not our favorite. We definitely have other zoos that have been our favorites, but it was a fun, different experience. Got to do a ski lift ride over their kind of Africa exhibit. So we did that multiple times. That was fun. And then they had an exhibit where you could pet a stingray, and I loved it. It was so much fun. They had two different what do you want to call them, variations of stingray, and then they also had a couple tiger sharks that were swimming around in the tank too, and so we were just going nuts, touching and petting those. That was fun. But my husband is afraid of fish. It's just not his thing, and I figured, okay, this is a big flat fish, it's not flopping out of the water, maybe I can get him. And we stood in the exhibit for, I don't know, probably close to 30-40 minutes, and I finally got him to just barely touch the end fin, as it was going by, of one of the stingrays. So he did it. I'm super proud of him. I didn't super push him to do it. I was just are you gonna do it? Is this something you want to try? And he stood there for a while, and yeah, it was fun and something different. And then the next day we did have the NASCAR race, which was at the Kansas City Speedway. I had never been there before, but I had been up to the Speedway in Chicago when it used to be run for the Cup Series. It's no longer used right now for the Cup Series. I think they might have opened it back up for Infinity. I'm not 100% sure, but they that was my first race experience, and that was super fun. But this was my husband's first race experience in person. And so that was just exciting to be able to, do that with him and let him experience all the stuff. We had pre-race passes to go down on the infield and sign the start finish line and, see all the pit boxes. It was just, it was a fun day. It was super hot. Our driver got 5th. He didn't win. It wasn't his best day, but it was still a lot of fun. So we're just gonna, throw a 20 into the travel just to get it going again, because we do have friends that live out of town, and so it's nice to always have a little bit of money set aside for gas just to get up there, and small little trips and like that. And then if I ever go over on my gas budget, especially when I'm traveling for baseball games, then I could always come back to this and take out some gas money. All right, events, which is anything like birthdays, holidays, etc., is going to be getting a whopping 100, because we do have Father's Day coming up, and July is like our mega birthday month, so I'm just kind of trying to prep for that. Dates and gifts, that's going to get a nice little boost of 60. And personal care, I will have a haircut this month, so 40. And then savings challenges, I'm going to be doing 65, because I did scratch 35 in my last video for my Dino savings challenge, and then I have $30 going to something new. But I have messed up somewhere, because I am short $20 apparently. And I thought I had done all the math correctly, so let's take a look here. Let's see, we did 60, 20, 100, 20. I must have taken another 20 somewhere to help cover personal care, but I actually didn't take it out, if that makes sense. So what we're gonna do is, because I've already bought one of the birthday gifts coming up for a July birthday, I'm going to go ahead and take it out of here. So we're just going to put $80 into events. That'll help me prep for Father's Day in June, and then, hopefully have a little bit left over for birthdays coming up in July. So that should come out correct now. I don't know where I messed up on that. I thought I had made notes to myself of what I wanted to do, but it happens. So we put just over $1,300 into our digital funds this time around, and our cash envelopes are going to get $445, which is awesome, because we're usually barely putting $200 in there. So they will get a nice little boost, which they definitely need and deserve. So, and I am excited to share what that extra savings is going to be going towards in an upcoming video for you guys. It's going to have its own binder and everything, and it is going to be a major savings goal for us, but it's going to be really exciting when we accomplish it. So that is it. I have got all kinds of stuff coming up for you guys. My binders are getting revamped and restyled. I'm gonna start stuffing prop for these digital funds so that you can do weekly check-ins with me and see how I do that, especially for food and gas, since that is an entire monthly, a large sum of money. And so how we kind of work through that and see how we're doing in that, and if I can finally balance out food into the proper amount, and we'll just see how this next month goes. And I'm excited to share it with you guys, and I hope you have an amazing day and a great budget. Bye guys.